Hey Cajun family, and welcome back. This week we will not be rolling out the red carpet, but we will be rolling around the yellow scaffolding. As y'all can see, there's a lot of work that needs to be done up here. The only time that we really spent up here was to put the ceiling in. So this is gonna be where we are mainly focusing at over the next few weeks. There is a lot, and I mean a lot of little things that need to get done, like the trim up here for this tin. We need to install the lights, and we have a lot of mudding left to do. So y'all buckle up and here we go. So while Jim's starting on the sheetrock, I'm gonna go ahead and prep up our dinner for tonight. And it's gonna consist of beef, shoulder, Texas style ribs. That's the meat that we're gonna be using. And I'm gonna end up making a gravy with this. One big thing for me and Jim is being debt free. And as y'all know, building this house, we are doing the entire thing debt free. And sometimes that means that you need to pinch pennies in certain places or for certain things. And one thing that we've really found to be really good, especially cooked in our pressure cooker, is this cheaper style meat. So this whole pack was $10.76. And I know y'all are gonna say something about this because it says HEB, and HEB is only in Texas. So we live close to the Texas border, and that's why y'all see a lot of our food as HEB stuff, because if we go over to Texas, they don't have a tax on food. So a lot of times we drive over there, which is the same distance as driving somewhere else in Louisiana to go get our groceries. But like I said, we usually go over to Texas because it's all tax-free. And this is just what they had whenever we went, so this is what we're gonna be using today. A little trick that my mother-in-law taught me: if you go to buy an onion and you wanna have a sweeter one, the shorter and rounder and fatter that they are, the sweeter that they're gonna be, and the longer that they are, they're gonna be less sweet. So I usually like to find the real thin ones like this that look kind of like a little pumpkin. You know those little tiny pumpkins you can get around the holidays? Yeah. So these ones are gonna be always a lot sweeter than the others. I only used about half of the onion, and once I had that cut up, I took the meat and just started cubing it up. Nothing special, just about a quarter size. So now we're just gonna take some Montreals and Tonys and sprinkle it all over the meat. That way it can be soaking while I'm finishing up getting this pot ready. Now I put about a cup of water in here, and before I go ahead and put the meat in, I'm gonna go ahead and put in my Lipton Recipe Secrets, which all that this is a French onion soup. Getting started early today, so even though I'm gonna cook this for 40 minutes, it's gonna take about an hour or so to get done, but that's totally okay. I still gotta make a gravy and everything later on, so that's why I'm gonna go ahead and start meal prepping now. That way I can get a project done in the meantime while this is going, and I don't have to stand over anything all day. Set this on high for 40 minutes, which as you can see, it's already set there because we cook like this so often. And I'm gonna go ahead and open this up, set my meat in, turn it on, and it'll be ready to go.
Blueberries. Blueberries.
While Jim is finishing up putting this first layer up of our sheetrock mud up here on our floating ceiling, I'm gonna give you all a little walkthrough of how our living room has been laying out since we've been living in here while we're working on it. So starting off strong, we got Lad's little play area, which has her sensory swing hung up on it, and we put a mattress down. It has been one of the best little areas for her to be able to play, as you can tell. And she can sit here and eat her little snacks, play with her little puzzles, play on her little swing, that she can just relax and hang out on. Typically we do have our TV up that's mounted where our fireplace is gonna go, but we did take it down that way we don't hit it with the scaffolding. Moving on to Jim's probably favorite part. Louise's cat house. No, I did not purchase this. 1,000,000% Jim did. And remember that time that he's always like, hey, that's not my cat. Why do you keep saying it's my cat?
Not my cat.
100% your cat. Have our little setup with our rug from Ruggable, and that's about the living room tour. So for all of our essential tools, we definitely still keep them right here in our 2 toolboxes, but we do have our master bathroom that is kind of our catch-all for some stuff like keeping all the sheetrock mud and the bigger tools that we need. So that is why we are kind of moving in the direction to get this scaffolding out of here. So the sooner that we can get the scaffolding out, the sooner that we can go ahead and start working on these floors. So in order to have those done though, we needed to get all this wall done up here because that's what we needed the scaffolding in here for. It is also a really good access to get up in the attic area, but we can definitely just set up a ladder, which is gonna be a lot easier and a lot smaller than this full-size scaffolding. We knew that we needed to let this sit, and patience is our worst enemy, so we decided to go ahead and get loaded up. Where are we going?
I'm going beach.
We're going to the beach?
Yeah.
This is where our traps are sitting right now, so we're gonna go ahead and check them real quick since we're going by. You never know.
I bet we're gonna have a ton of cool stuff in there.
I'll bet that if Gus walks any further towards them, we're gonna have Gus in it.
Every time we come back here to run these traps, we always say, we probably ain't gonna have nothing in them because it's been so dry. So this time, we're gonna flip our attitude. We're probably gonna have something really, really cool in there. Who knows, we might change our luck.
Oh yeah, we got a lot of perch. You should have been saying that from the get-go. Lots of little perch.
Oh yeah. That'll work.
At least we know that they're in here and we can always stop back at any time and get them. So we'll throw it back in there and see how many more we can catch. Whenever we got back here to check on these traps, we actually spotted some teeny tiny little cypress trees, and typically you do not see them this small.
So where all these little cypress trees are right at the edge of like where the bank would be normally. So the cypress balls wash up to the edge of the shore, and now we have all these little cypress trees. A lot of times they're hard to find because the water comes up, covers them up, you can't see them. But we found some, we found a little honey hole, and we're gonna try to dig some up and transplant them, see how they do.
For now, where are we going, lad?
I'm going beach.
The beach.
Gladly found some shells.
Just as we left, we spotted a monarch butterfly. And every time that we spot monarch butterflies, it makes us think of our friends at the Livin Pines. Whenever we went up north to visit the Livin Pines, they actually took us to go through their little caterpillar honey hole.
Go over here.
I wish we could take it home with us. This was actually one of the coolest things to see because not only did we find a bunch of caterpillars, but Jenna actually doesn't mow this area anymore because she keeps it as a sanctuary for the caterpillars to come, and they help the caterpillars grow into butterflies. Jenna was actually telling me about how monarch butterflies have depleted in the United States by 80%, so they have done everything that they can to help. This one is actually one that Jim found, and they were so certain that it was about to go into the J shape, which y'all will see soon, that we actually got to take it back to the house with us. They actually currently have a running count of 120 butterflies that they have hatched. This one apparently wanted to join us for breakfast because he started coming out as soon as we started eating. So Jenna and Teddy actually set us up with this little caterpillar. We actually got to take him on the airplane, and they were kind enough not to put him through the x-ray machine because they didn't know if he would survive through it or not. But this caterpillar came all the way from Minnesota on 2 flights all the way down to Louisiana. But honestly, y'all, none of us knew that this was gonna happen. As we were going through the airport, waiting for our next flight, he actually started going into the chrysalis form. It was such an experience to see. So in the beginning of our journey, we started with a caterpillar in the J form, and by the time that we got home, he was already in the chrysalis. It was so neat to see, and so many people were really fascinated by this, so it was really cool to educate them on this as well. After 14 days, here he started to come out. I did do a time lapse of it because I did not want to miss this, but as y'all can see, he is just getting his land legs and starting to stretch his wings. Within a few hours of just coming out of the chrysalis, he was already starting to climb up and already starting to flap his wings a bunch. And see those little dots on the back? Right there on his back wings, that means that it's a male. As soon as he started to fly around, we knew that he was ready to be released. This was such an amazing experience, not only for Ladley, but for us as well. Actually getting to see the whole life cycle, it was truly just amazing. If any of y'all want to try this at home, please let me or Jenna know. I know that she will not mind answering any questions, just like I do not mind at all either. Whenever we got home, I finished making the gravy and put it over some rice, and there we had supper. So the next morning, I started texturing, and I am definitely not going to bore y'all with a lot of this footage because we know that I have done a lot of texturing in the house so far. So all I did was texture this wall that has the TV side on it, and I'm also going to be texturing the wall on the right side as well. We did need to leave this sit, so I went ahead and knocked this out one day, and then we were ready for the next project the next day. Lots and lots of little cuts and grooves, huh?
Tons of little pieces.
Whenever we decided to put this corrugated metal on the ceiling, I don't think we really thought about the trimming out process.
We just thought it was a really cool idea. We really liked the concept, and we knew we were going to like the look. But now it's come to the trim phase. Yeah, not an easy task at all. They may have something out there especially for this, but I haven't found it.
And if they do, it probably costs 10 times as much as it should. So we're just gonna go ahead and put in the labor. Jim's gonna go ahead and put in the labor. Jim's been focusing more on this trim on this section of the house, and I've been more focused on the finishing and the painting of it, so it works out perfect for both of us.
Yeah, 10,846 cuts later, we'll have the next piece of trim ready. Remember how you said you had those steady hands for welding? Why don't you cut some of these out, because I'm sure you'd be way better at this than me. With those steady hands, absolutely.
Did you feed Betty? Did you feed her a lot? Did you spill it?
Yeah.
Are you gonna pick it up for me? Thanks. So our trim is stacked with a 1x6 on the back and a 1x4 on the front. Whenever we put this metal up, it came in 3-foot sections. It does cover the full 3 foot, and where the seam falls out actually makes it a little bit past 3 foot. So we can only put 3-foot pieces up at a time because we were kind of twisting a little bit, turning to keep the line straight as we were going. So technically you should be able to just put the whole 12-foot piece up here, right? Well, because we have those little tiny areas of, you know, a 16th that we ended up moving it, or a 32nd that we ended up moving it, you can definitely tell, and it throws the entire piece of trim off.
And it adds up as you go. So if you add a 16th here, a 16th there, that's an 1/8. And then so forth and so on. By the time you get to the end, you could be off a 1/2 inch.
Once we got this trim up, we went ahead and took this corner trim and put it in between the 1x4 and the 1x6. It made for a little nice step down look. And from there we started to paint. So actually whenever I got this paint, I didn't think about any whites besides a white that would match this tin, because we did not want to have to paint our tin. I am gonna have to go back and paint the trim, but that is minor details. All the trim still needs to be finished caulking anyway, so we went ahead and painted the walls just to get that bright look on there. And this paint does have primer in it as well. Another big thing that we actually didn't realize that we were gonna do during this time was go ahead and caulk the area between the trim and the tin. So we really debated this because it doesn't look bad. It's just a lot of shadow and dark whenever you have so much white going on that it just stands out like a sore thumb. So we needed to add that to the list as well. But one thing at a time. So I kept on working on this paint while Jim went ahead and started to install these lights. There was 6 holes for recessed lights that we had put in. Originally we were gonna do 6-inch lights, but Jim ended up finding these 2-inch lights that fit in between the corrugation, and it came out absolutely beautiful. So we are so glad that we went that smaller size. So we put this inside corner trim up in between the 1x4s and the 1x6s, but we both kind of got up here today and thought, what if we put it around the bottom too?
I think we were just so excited on how good it actually looked with trim, we was about to miss the full potential. So now that we're sitting here at the intersection, is to go ahead and put this inside trim in, and it's really gonna make this pop. I mean, for trim that we made and just dreamed up, I think it's looking pretty solid.
Okay, I'm gonna show y'all what it looks like right now, and then I'm gonna show y'all what it looks like finished.
All right, so Lydia's up on the scaffold. She's doing the final touches on the trim, and I just have to apologize for the Donnie Baker look thing that I got going on here, but I don't know where our selfie stick Hootis is. I'm just having to do arm's reach. But Lydia's just about got this wiped out. She's down to the last foot or so, and I'll have to say it's looking absolutely perfect.
So as y'all can tell, we definitely still have a little bit of work left to do on this trim. We need to finish caulking it, sanding it, and painting it. So we will be leaving the scaffolding out for another week or so we can finish all these little details, but overall, we are so happy with the progress that we've made. We do know that this is definitely a one-of-a-kind look, and we are so happy with the way that it is coming along. As Brent said in our comments, this is definitely country modern.